A lot of times we navigate between jealousy, envy, and hate and joy when we see somebody that look like us make it. If I'm being realistic, I understand. Because seeing somebody that look like you, seeing somebody that come from where you come from, not just by color, race, we talking about class. There can be a piece of envy because you ask yourself, why them and not me? I want us to confront a timeless adversary. That's right. One that has plagued a certain class of people for generations. I like to call this one an insidious oppressor. One that has ensnared generations in an unforgiving grip. One that has strangled dignity at times. A vigilante of the sort that has perpetually abused, misused, and confused a class of people. And while we watch companies amass market caps the size of countries, while we've watched men single-handedly attain unimaginable wealth, there's a tumultuous uproar amongst the working poor, middle class, and deep poverty class. There's a residue of economic strife. There's a smothering effect of the possibilities. When I think about this culprit, I think about how it withers and how it finesses. Sometimes it even gives the facade of unfound possibilities. But yet, hidden behind the veil of prosperity lies the culprit of the tradition of poverty. And so when we talk about the idea, the philosophy, the ideology of tradition, I want us to understand that with this tradition comes repeated behavior. With this tradition comes an inherited mindset. But most importantly, with this tradition comes a vague sense of hope. Oftentimes, the idea of being millionaires and multimillionaires, it seems like an insurmountable task that only a select, chosen few can accomplish. A lot of times we navigate between jealousy, envy, and hate and joy when we see somebody that look like us make it. If I'm being realistic, I understand. Because seeing somebody that look like you, seeing somebody that come from where you come from, not just by color, race, we talking about class. There can be a piece of envy because you ask yourself, why them and not me? You can ask yourself, was it because he come from a two-parent home? Was it because I come from this? Was it because my mother was this? Was it because you start to ask yourself crippling questions that stifle your growth. An an insurmountable task it is to break those chains. Sometimes needing the mental strength of a Samson. And this time, the weakness isn't your hair. The weakness, what if the weakness is hope? And when I say the weakness is hope, I mean the idea of expecting something greater than what you are, greater than what you have seen, greater than you can visualize. Can that often be paralyzing? How can we consistently strive to move forward when the present is so bleak? Today I want us to unmask that culprit. Today I want us to look dead in the eyes of that tradition of poverty and say the strongest words, the strongest phrase: I am free. Because in order to achieve something that is God-given, you have to participate in the assignment. In order to participate in the assignment, you have to actively move forward. And to move forward means we are willing to endure affliction. Tonight we talk about the tradition of poverty. So as we go through the ebbs and flows of tonight's show, just understand that there will be moments where we hone in. Tonight, I want us to grab that tradition by the jaws, and I want it to peel it back and set ourselves free. Because wrapped inside of that tradition, there's fears. Wrapped inside of that tradition, there's trauma. Wrapped inside of that tradition is mediocre expectations that you have gotten comfortable with. Tradition. A set of rules, a set of habits, inherited by the generations before you that you have adapted and abided to without your permission. Traditions. What traditions have we accepted as normal and we don't agree with? What traditions have consistently chastised us that we don't agree with? The tradition of poverty. Who cleans up that residue? Who breaks the chain? Who renegotiates the contract? Who becomes the pioneer? The tradition of poverty. A couple weeks ago, I said we had to make the statement, I am. But tonight, I want us to do more than make the statement. Tonight, I want us to become it. Tonight, I want us to have a metamorphosis. A metamorphosis in how we think. A metamorphosis in how we react. A metamorphosis in how we execute. But in order to have that metamorphosis like the caterpillar, we must first kill the old version of ourselves so that we can give birth to the I am. so that we can give birth to the version of ourselves that believes that we are the new tradition. We must kill the old version of ourselves so that we can give birth to the new millionaire. We must kill the old version of ourselves that doesn't just rely on hope, but that depends more on action and execution. We must kill the old version of ourselves so that money now not becomes a goal, but money now is a tool. We got to kill the old version of ourselves that has set the new normals for what freedom truly is. We must kill the old version of ourselves that knows now how to use money instead of being used by money. We must kill the old version of ourselves that says that money is the master and we are the slave. We must kill the old version of ourselves that no longer serves us. We must kill the old version of ourselves that have come in contact with this new belief. We must kill the old version of ourselves that was premeditatedly ready to hand down these poisonous beliefs. Tradition, the tradition of poverty. Tonight, we set into the first stage of metamorphosis. Tonight we adapt new lifestyles. Tonight we adapt new behaviors because the way that we think is a chain reaction to the way that we speak. The way that we speak is a chain reaction of how we emotionally feel. And then how we behave is a byproduct of how we think, speak, and feel. Tonight we metamorphosize. Tonight we raise the standard. Tonight we elevate. As a matter of fact, tonight we transcend. Tonight we transcend. Tonight we transcend into the people that our ancestors, forefathers, we transcend into the thing in which they believed in. Tonight we transcend. Somebody in your bloodline had a vision for something greater than what they lived. Tonight, you transcend into that. Tonight, you disregard anything that doesn't serve you at the highest level. Tonight, you move past the toxic behaviors. Tonight, you lock in. Tonight, you break the chains of that tradition of poverty.